Okay, so I'm going to reply to this feminist reviewer. She's a lesbian feminist who reviews Elven Lead. She got recommended by Super Eye Patch Wolf. So it's surprising what shit gets recommended by big YouTubers. Right. So Elven Lead is one of those animes that gets slandered, unfortunately. So I do think it was actually overrated when it came out. It was, people were acting like it was a 10 out of 10, one of the best animes ever, when it clearly wasn't. But it's a solid 7 or maybe even 8. It does have some flaws, and I'll talk about that in a review one day. But people act like this is like the worst anime ever and it's problematic and all this blah 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 shit. Okay, so let's just get on with this, and I'm not going to watch the entire 2 hours and 10 minutes. So I'm just going to react to what interests me. Okay. I like that.
With nearly 17 years of hindsight, it's a little strange to look back on Elfenlied's popularity in the 2000s. This notoriously grimdark series took anime fans of all kinds by storm when it landed on Western shores in 2005, and in a way no anime quite had before or since. However, for as culturally significant as it was in its heyday, the series has largely fallen out of public consciousness.
Because there's been no follow-ups made. The manga's not that good, in my opinion. It's very weak and overdrawn. Okay, and the anime has a better emotional core to it, an emotional catharsis, right? So, and there's been no other animes. Nothing's been followed up. So it's going to die off naturally anyway.
Of what was once an
Like Tenchi like been forgotten as well because there hasn't been that many follow-ups, right? It's not forgotten, but it's not in the public consciousness like how it used to be. It was like a lot bigger deal like 20 years ago.
anime canon that saw it stand right beside the likes of such beloved works as Neon Genesis Evangelion and Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah, that's why it's overrated, because it doesn't. It's not quite on that level. So it is overrated. And when it came out, it was overrated, for sure. But again, it's not like the worst anime ever. Like a lot of people acting like it's like that. It's not.
When Elfenlied is discussed these days, it is most often with a smirk or an eye roll in reminiscence to a time in which an anime like that could be considered so unanimously a masterpiece.
I like that. So it's like this sniggering, looking down on it. And there's a lot of people who probably liked it, and because it's the trend not to like on it and to snigger at it, okay, they're going to go along with the consensus and pretend not to like it.
It was April 25th, 2020, when I first uttered into reality that I was reading the Elfenlied manga. I, a nearly 25-year-old woman who was there when Elfenlied was at peak popularity, spent more than a year trying to complete the reckoning process required to ascertain clarity on its success, its fade into footnotedom, and the broader implications of everything in between. The Western cultural response to Elfenlied was simply far too entwined in Western culture, specifically subculture, to view it purely as a piece of media, nor a work of art. Rather, I must also view it as an extension and reflection of said culture, despite not even originating from it. As such, I inserted myself in as many contexts one could view Elfenlied through as I could.
So you don't judge art like that if it's any good. Good art is actually universal. It speaks to universal truths, right? And like even good art might have like an odd joke and reference that you might not get, it might be dated, but good art is about the human conditions. So it's, and Elven Lead is about the human condition, so it's universal. You don't need to understand the context of the past to appreciate it.
Read and watched the series, as well as many of its contemporaries. I engaged with the artistic touchstones of and research studies done on youth subculture from the early 2000s.
Yeah, Elven Lead's not for kids though. So why are you researching youth subculture? I was in my 20s when I first saw it, and I saw it probably like a year after it came out in 2004. I saw it. I saw it. I saw it in the DVD with a bad fan sub, right?
I sought out as many contemporary reviews, forum threads, fan fictions, fan art, AMVs, DeviantArt journals, and LiveJournal and MySpace posts about Elfenlied as I could get my hands on. I spoke to nearly every friend of mine, almost certainly incessantly, about their history with the series. I even let myself think extensively back to my own formative adolescent memories. Ugh. In order to, hopefully, preempt those whose instinct is to take my word as review, allow me to make myself clear. I have no interest in discussing whether or not Elfen Lied holds up or is worth a watch, nor will I evaluate whether or not it was ever good. I have, for years, logged everything I watch, listen to, and play on various cataloging websites, and I have not given a single work a numerical rating.
So this is a cop-out in my opinion, but whatever.
I have less than zero interest in artistic objectivity. I'm going to speak critically of Elfen Lied, that is, as a critic would, but this is not a review. None of my videos or writing are reviews, but especially not this one, trust me. When I speak of Elfen Lied through a critical lens, it is primarily to articulate further the unprecedented significance of its Western success. I'm not here to tell you...
It's because it was shocking. That's a lot to do with it. The first episode was very good, right? It was like a real horror gore show, and it was an interesting premise as well.
A thing you like or once liked is back.
And it had a good opening as well when I first saw it, because I had no idea what it was about, because I just had this DVD for like... I used to buy these DVDs randomly of animes, right? From pirated stuff, okay? And I'd buy them randomly on purpose, because I got some very good surprises, like Elfen Lied and Gungrave. Even though some fan subs, some of the subs were just completely unwatchable or unreadable, right? Some of them you could understand what was going on, and I found some treasures like Elfen Lied. I think I saw it probably earlier than anyone else would have seen it, the average person. Okay, and it was the opening theme, the mood, the first episode, and how weird it was in some ways as well. There was a weird tonal contrast to it, but I think the tonal contrast actually works, and basically because it's meant to be dark and light, right? The misery of Lucy's existence and the light of her love and her happiness with Quota. Okay.
Bad. Believe me. A more important preface is that this is a video about Elfen Lied. I'm going to talk about everything it depicts, which is just about everything in media that tends to be distressing, as well as a few other distressing topics that surround the series from a cultural and historical perspective.
Okay, the thing is, there's this weird double standard of anime that you feminist man-haters tend to have, because you're a feminist man-hater, okay? So, anime is not allowed to show distressing subject matter, but you keep your mouth shut on movies, and you keep your mouth shut on the books that you read, the literature you read, with stuff that's actually far worse, right? You keep your mouth shut on that, because you see anime as something that men enjoy, and you also see it as lowbrow. You're snobs, basically.
I feel that it's important to the heart of this video that I leave as much uncensored as possible, and furthermore that I do not sugarcoat or compromise on representing Elfen Lied's transgressions as what they are. I will not show any potentially re-traumatizing imagery in more...
Re-traumatizing imagery, fuck off. Everyone sees this and doesn't get traumatized. Get the fuck out of here, right? Get the fuck out of this trigger warning bullshit. I don't accept it.
Explicit detail that I find absolutely necessary, but be warned that this video is going to go to some dark and uncomfortable places.
It's got child abuse in it, sexual child abuse in it, and it's got some of the most realistic depictions of it, and it's got one of the greatest depictions of it as well, right? There's some scenes that really lift the quality of this anime up that are very well done. This show actually has subtext and foreshadowing, which is done quite well by anime standards. Okay, so I did this is like one of the worst animes ever, right? It's ridiculous. There's loads of bad reviews for this out there now, like this recent trend by people.
Oh, also, I'm going to spoil everything about both the Elfen Lied anime and manga, which I will be speaking on interchangeably as there are differences between them. When I speak on traits both the anime and manga share, I will accompany my words with footage from the anime, and when I am speaking strictly about the manga, I will use its pages. With that, it's time for me to report my findings to you. Elfen Lied is the story of Lucy, a girl who breaks out of a lab that kept her captive to experiment with her psychic abilities. These abilities, which manifest as an invisible, superhumanly powerful second set of arms, are caused by the horns growing from her head, which signify her as a Diclonius. After escaping, she loses her memory.
Okay, I really hate that when people like show these flash things that are really short, and then you have to pause it to read it. You don't have time to digest it. That's bad. Basically, it's not cool to do that. Okay.
And enters a regressive
I think you're saying Ducklonises are named after dinosaurs.
state, where she winds up living with a pair of dubiously romantically entwined cousins. Average good guy, every boy, partial amnesiac POV character Kota, and sexually generally frustrated Yuka at their family inn.
He's okay.
Lucy is hunted down
I don't think Quota is a POV character. Lucy is, in my opinion, but okay, whatever.
by an array of government and private forces, and in many cases, other Dicloni.
Alright,
Dicloni are all little girls for plot reasons, but mostly for dumb cum-brain reasons.
But mostly for dumb cum-brain reasons. Okay. Okay, so your Yoi anime, your Yoi mangas, animes you watch that are full of boy rape and man rape, right? That's for dumb plot reasons, right? Okay. Okay. Okay.
A whole lot of characters.
There's like this judgment here, this sneering judgment, which I don't accept, right? They don't hold their own stuff to this standard. They love their trashy stuff, right?
Characters get introduced of varying relevance to the central narrative, some of which stick around, while others unceremoniously get their heads blown off, which is fine too. Many are friends, becoming a sort of found family inside the inn. Many are foe who keep coincidentally bumping into the main crew, and a good handful are both friend and foe. Surrounding Elfenlied's nucleus, the Maple Inn and its interpersonal happenings, is enough political theatrics and convoluted pseudoscience to sink a cargo ship.
Well, all science in this stuff is pseudoscience. What the fuck are you on about? Is this disparaging tone? Oh, it's pseudoscience. Yes, it's fiction, you fucking pillock. Of course it's pseudo-fucking science. You think fiction has real science? Even hard sci-fi doesn't really have real fucking science in it, right? What the fuck are you on about? Like, can you imagine a hard science fiction literature saying, oh, this can't be done at all because it's not really possible, right? Okay, get the fuck out of here.
Most of which transpire from the Diclonius Research Institute and as a result of the far-reaching ulterior motives of the project's head director, though ultimately it's all in service to making more bad things happen to young girls.
Oh yeah, more bad things happen to young girls. Like, how many men die in this, right? And so the men die, they get disposed of. Again, bad things happen to these young girls, so you feel empathy and pity for them. That's the whole fucking point, right? It's meant to be a fucking tragedy. You're not making a point here.
If you're all familiar with Elfenlied, you don't need me to tell you that it's pretty jam-packed with some twisted shit. The series is, yes, both graphically violent and graphically sexual, so infamously that this fact usurps most people's perception of it. When you think Elfenlied, you probably think naked pink-haired lady decapitating people with telekinesis. Or you think that show where the puppy gets killed. Every character is given a tragic back.
It's interesting that they don't show the puppy actually getting killed directly, like it's too much. But they show humans getting ripped up. Humans care more about puppies than humans, so probably don't blame them, to be honest.
Backstory, usually to do with the bloody death of a loved one or a history of sexual assault or abuse. Likewise, the threat of sexual assault is constantly held over the heads of the entire female cast.
Okay, the threat of death's held over the male characters as well. What fucking point are you making? Like, it actually, evil men threatening sexual violence against females. Like, so what? It's a horror drama program for adults. Yeah, and you feminist women, right? You read your romance novels full of rape all the fucking time, and they actually go through with the rapes in these books, right? So who the fuck are you to talk?
While I certainly don't think depictions of these things are off the table, it's also gratuitous here.
No, it's not actually. It's not. It's not actually. It's not gratuitous. It's actually, especially in anime, it's not in it that much, right? The violence is gratuitous, but so what? It's a fucking horror anime. That's meant to be violent. You're watching it for the fucking violence, right? To be shocked, okay?
The context of Elfenlied's sexual violence plants foot directly in mouth, and the violent violence is so over the top and juvenile that I couldn't pretend to be offended by it. Silly though it may be, it's
But you pretend to be offended by the sexual assault stuff, right? Okay.
difficult to overlook just how cruel the series is. For example, there's a sequence in which one of the main human characters, Mayu, a homeless girl the protagonists take in, suffers an injury that lands her in the hospital. This sticks Kota and Yuka with a fairly hefty medical bill. The ensuing guilt causes Mayu to quietly leave the Maple Inn with her dog, Wanta.
So, I don't know what point she's making. Literature's full of cruel stuff. Tragedy's full of cruel stuff. She's not making a point here. She's just looking for like pretexts shit on the enemy.
As she travels back to the hovel at the beach she'd been living in when she was still homeless, we learn that she left home because she was being sexually abused by her stepfather. She then gets hounded by the police for being a vagrant, and mere moments later, Wanta's true owner finds him and takes him home. Oh.
So the dog character Wanta is an angel. That's the symbol. It's a symbolic angel. If you watch the subtext, right? So she's gonna kill herself and throw herself into the ocean after being abused, and it's a very tragic scene. It's actually very well done, right? It's got symbolism in it, and the dog comes and yaps at her, and she decides not to kill herself, and she decides to take care of the puppy. And the puppy actually approaches other characters who are innocent, who are good, and it introduces her to them, right? The puppy's actually an angel. It's a subtext. It's an angelic spirit. That's the subtext right there. You're probably not sophisticated enough to pick up on that, right? I picked up on that when I was in my early 20s, by the way.
Oh, also, all of this happens on her 14th birthday. You know that joke?
And also, it's tragedy, but she finds acceptance of belonging and love and security, right? You have the tragedy to make the catharsis even better, right? That's the contrast.
Fifth graders tell to push the envelope when the teacher isn't in the room that's like, what did the deaf blind kid get for Christmas? Cancer! That's not far off from playing out in Elfenlied.
No, it's not. Wrong. You're being dismissive here. You're being dismissive.
All of this is set up so...
Okay. What we're going to have to do... I'm going to prove my point. Elven lid. Sexual abuse scene. I want to make sure. I should just...
Say hi to your new daddy.
Nice to meet you, Mayu.
Right, it doesn't have all lit. Mayu goes to kill. Sorry about this. Herself. Mayu. Alright, Mayu. Oh, fuck. I should have prepared for this before. Right, sexual abuse.
Say hi to your new daddy.
Nice to meet you, Mayu.
So this is actually one of the most realistic depictions of sexual child abuse done by a stepfather and a daughter, because it's enabled by the mother. He doesn't give a shit about it.
That's my girl. Come on now. Take off your clothes. That's my girl. Now, you know what to do.
So if any of you are turned on by this, right, there's something wrong with you. So if you assume this is done for fan service, you're a sick son of a bitch, I've just got to say.
Mommy, listen. I can't stand him anymore.
Really? Why's that?
Because when you're not around...
She doesn't want to know. She's found a new man. He's high status, most likely. That's her priority, her man, not her own biological child, right? That's narcissism, by the way, very common.
It's you who isn't wanted. Because you're here. Because you're here, he doesn't.
What's wrong? Take it all off.
I'm not gonna do it anymore!
This is gratuitous, right? This is exploitative, right? No. So this is the beach where Lucy comes from, and he wakes up as new, right? So it's the same beach. So there's a rebirth of innocence symbolism, right here. There's a rebirth symbolism due to the beach. So when you've been abused like this and betrayed, especially by your own mother, it shatters your sense of security on a fundamental level that's very hard to describe. I've actually been through this, okay? And I actually tear up when I watch this because I feel really bad for her, actually, every single time. And yeah, it's hard to describe. I think this is very well done. I'm sorry. She's broken. She's absolutely broken.
It's the ocean.
Those children are put there for a reason. That's subtext, symbolising innocence. It's simply done, but it's well done. It's not randomly done. This anime. It's better than people think it is.
Don't tell me you're alone. Were you abandoned? You're just like me, you know? They were really nice. I wish...
So so that's a rebirth of her innocence. So an angelic spirit in that dog comes to save her and give her hope and something to live for. Okay? That's the symbolism. You can't. I'm sorry. You're acting like it. Sorry. I'm sorry. If you don't understand that, you don't understand the anime. Okay. So let's get back to it.
So that Kota and Yuka can look like extra good people when they find her, take her home for good, and celebrate her birthday with her. Just in
Well, they are good people. What are you on about? So they look like they're extra good people. The characters are actually good. They are good, right?
time for Wanta to escape from her owner and return to Mayu.
Well, the dog escaped. You're not meant to overthink it. The dog escaped because it's an angelic spirit in the form of a dog. Her guardian angel, in other words. Okay, that's what the subtext is. The dog is innocence, right? Okay. It's the better aspects of humanity, the compassion, the protective instincts in that dog. Okay.
Oh, and Yuka's family owns an inn they're not using. They've got the cash to deal with a little emergency bill. We could already guess before Mayu's backstory was divulged that she probably had a good reason for running away, especially given the visual detail that she wasn't even wearing pants before she found her way to the Maple Inn. We also already knew
she's not wearing them because she's still stuck in her emotional state when she's just run away from her abuse. It's symbolic, okay? So like you're over-analysing, you're being very snarky, very nitpicking your tone, and you don't actually understand what you're analysing, what you're looking at, or the reason why it exists, okay?
New to see Kota and Yuka as giving, responsible people because they let a bunch of wayward girls live with them. We glean nothing of worth from that entire sequence. It's just...
What? Okay, we learn nothing of worth from finding out our past history. Like, what? Is that you? Okay.
It's there to heighten the emotions of the story and to cheaply invest you in the cast.
Oh, so a child abuse scene that's been done realistically and done well, right? And the trauma of it is just cheap. Okay, you just don't like the anime. You're just being dismissive no matter what, right? Okay.
Atop that, even regular Joe Normie background characters can be so unreasonably mean, shoving young kids around or making fun of them for being poor or different or whatever. It's just so silly to me. Even with this...
Yeah, because you don't like the anime, that's why. Okay, like, characters in fiction act weird all the fucking time and unrealistic all the fucking time in so many different ways. When you like it, you just don't notice it. When you don't, you do. That's the difference. Okay, there's only one aspect of Elven Lied that sort of bothers me, to be honest, and that's the fact that they keep these beings prisoner locked up tight and they still come out healthy and fully developed, right? When they should be invalids, really, but whatever. I can look past that. It's fucking fiction, okay?
Story doing everything it can to imbue its images with emotional weight. I'm sure
And it works. That scene works for me, okay?
you've noticed, but the art style in the Elfen Lied manga is, not great. I'm a cretin, so I tend to find even the absolute wonkiest of art styles endearing or even artistically heightening if I like or appreciate the content of a work's story, but it isn't doing any favors for the content of Elfen Lied's story.
Well, you got shit taste, so whatever you think is invalid.
It improves as it goes along, to be fair, but even by the end, it creates a pervasive cognitive dissonance that plays into its greater tonal issues. Most of the time, when people say something has a tone problem, they mean it disparagingly, but like, life has a tone problem. The clashing of tones, even if executed sloppily or unintentionally, can just kind of feel real to me most of the time. Life is dumb and weird, and being alive is all at once emotionally turbulent, overwhelmingly beautiful, and deeply goofy. It's like that Bob Ross quote.
You know, it's like in life, gotta have a little sadness.
This is just filler analysis.
So also, you know when the good times come.
Disparate tones are also a key component of what makes camp art compelling. In Elfen Lied's case, though, the lighthearted moments are so banal that they stand to trivialize the serious, emotional moments.
No, you don't actually. No, you need the banal and you need the comfortable to highlight the innocence. Quota's place is an escape from the nastiness, right? It's where they can feel safe and be innocent, feel protected, and just bond and get along, right? You don't understand the series. You actually don't. There's meant to be a tonal contrast here, okay?
And the drastic stakes the series raised make things like the obligatory fan service feel all the more embarrassing.
That's not fan service to me. Right? If you're that's a threat narrative against. That's just meant to be a threat narrative against sexual organs, right? That doesn't turn me on. That makes me feel uncomfortable and scared for the character, okay?
Like,
all right, so maybe you're sexually attracted to that, okay? That 14-year-old girl who doesn't even look 14, she looks like 12 or 11 to me. Maybe that's what turns you on, okay? Right? I've watched the anime for fucking years. I was never turned on by that once, honestly. Like the only character I'm actually turned on by is Lucy. She looks like an 18-year-old, 19-year-old teenage girl with a nice body, right? Okay.
how are we supposed to feel when we learn that the incontinent singer who keeps pissing herself when it's her turn to either be the fan service character or the comic relief character is the way she is because her dad was physically abusive to her after her mom committed suicide?
Well, because I don't like the manga, so I'm not going to bother defending that.
Am I supposed to feel
that character was lame anyway and didn't do much?
dirty for thinking it was just oh so much fun when you grabs her tits or whatever? Because I didn't in the first place. The series so routinely puts its
You probably frigged off to it, let's be fucking real. Because a lot of these weirdos, like concern troll over something being problematic, they're the ones that frig off to it the most. I promise you that now.
survivors of sexual assault or abuse in typical anime wank bait situations that I don't think it...
Okay, in the anime, I never wanked off to the bath scenes, right? When they play around and play fight and tickle each other and touch each other. I never wanked off to it, so... Did you frig off to it? Maybe you're actually projecting and you're confessing something here to us? Who knows? Yeah?
Even realize...
Again, women read romance novels full of rape and sadistic torture. Women enjoy violent porn more than men do, okay?
As the two are intrinsically correlative. It's as though the series sees them as wholly different entities. I think that's why, if I'm being incredibly generous, this manga seems to nearly delight in showing its female characters being victimized in much the same way, or at least with much the same framing, as its lighthearted but also still fucking whack fan service.
Oh, shut the fuck up then. Don't read it if you don't like the fan service. And you do like it, probably. You're a sicko, most likely. Sorry. Fucking whining and fucking complaining. Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah, look, the manga's a lot weaker than the anime. The anime's far superior. Right, move on.
This girl is like fucking 15.
Don't worry, guys. She's actually 16. So the concern trolling of the age of consent here, right? Again, don't worry, guys. She's actually 16. All right, whatever. Yeah. Jesus Christ. There's romance novels where 12-year-old girls get raped by baboons. The stuff that you women read is fucking sick. How fucking dare you complain? How fucking dare you?
Look, I'm a dumb lesbian in a world of male-dominated media. I'm
No,
not
you're not in a world of male-dominated media. There's media that men happen to like, right? Okay, stop playing the fucking victim.
above finding a cartoon boob fun, but this shit is just ridiculous. Why is she always crying? What about this is fun? I don't think Flynn Okamoto is cognizant that his series' every page is soaked in the papier-mâché-like viscous cummy runoff of the male gaze.
The male gaze is so fucking toxic that it's full of cum and it stains pages. Like what the fuck? You are a fucking disgusting man-hater, yeah? Like, again, the stuff that you fucking women frig off to is fucking disgusting, yeah? Right? You are really into sadism. The studies back this up. You love sadism, right? So when I watch her sexual abuse past, I feel empathy, sympathetic, and I feel sad, right? And I feel relief when she finds somewhere to belong to, right? Okay, you probably frig off to it. Who knows?
He doesn't know how to depict the female body devoid of the fucking gaze.
What? Fuck you. Fuck you. Get fucked. Go fuck yourself. Who the fuck are you? Who the fuck are you to tell him how to draw stuff? Right? Who the fuck are you? Who the fuck are you? Again, who the fuck are you? The male gaze. Get the fuck out of here. There's no such thing as a fucking male gaze. There's stuff that men and women happen to look at. It appeals to them or it doesn't appeal to them. Right? And he's free to draw whatever the fuck he wants, and you're free to read it or not fucking read it. Get the fuck out of here.
That's why when he really wants to make sure something doesn't have even so much as a hint of eroticism, he just doesn't show it at all. I can't believe I'm about to say it, but I'm actually kind of sympathetic to that, even if I find it insulting on nearly every other level.
Well, that's fine, because I find your review insulting to men on every single level as well. Lesbian man-hater.
The dude doesn't seem especially media literate. Elfenlied was like his very first comic. He started drawing seriously at around 30 years of age after leaving a stable yet wage-cucking game and toy design job at Bondi. I have to imagine it's easy to live your whole life as a man and never be confronted with the notion that media can frame the female body as implicitly sexual.
What? You're not even fucking making a point. Like, what? Men are guilted and made to feel like dirty pieces of shit for their preferences all the fucking time. What the fuck are you on about? Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here, you lesbian man-hater. Get the fuck out of here. Go back to your shitty, trashy romance novels full of rape and torture. Yeah?
If you're not thinking critically or seeking out critical thought about art. And then, monkey see, monkey do. Okamoto has, in so many words, said he wanted to make Lucy a strong female protagonist, and I can see how he'd think that would suffice without conflicting against the ways in which she's sexualized.
No. Sexualizing doesn't make a woman weaker. Again, you just hate this anime because you think men enjoy it. This is a spiteful review of the anime.
At the end of the day, Elfenlied doesn't even feel particularly bandwagon-esque, save for the presence of the much aforementioned fan service. Okamoto has said that he was inspired by Love Hina, but that inspiration feels sincere to me. Elfenlied may be a lot of things, but it is not cynically focus-tested. Okamoto talks in some afterwards about being dissatisfied with the quality of the early chapters, about the workflow of serialized manga grinding him to dust, and only finding solace in fans writing in to say they were enjoying his series. I get the feeling he was operating on raw, unrefined creative instinct. He didn't have the time or familiarity with the medium to apply a critical enough eye to his own work.
So critical enough eye means you're a male, you're not allowed to do what you enjoy, you've got to censor it to please me. And by the way, my tastes and demands are vague and nebulous, and even if you cater to them, I'll just come up with a new demand and disparage you over a perceived slight against my aesthetic judgment. No, fuck you. You don't have any fucking say in what men enjoy. Yeah, get fucked.
I'm assuming a lot here, and
no, Dead by Daylight. That's a game. It's a horror game where people get murdered and tortured. Okay, 60% female player base, right? Horror movies are watched by females. They love it. Like I've known females who love Michael Myers, more than one. They love his strong hands and they love the way he strangles women to death. Yeah, like who the fuck are you? Who the fuck are you to tell men what they can't and can't like? Who the fuck are you to tell male creators what to do? So this guy's early stuff, the Elven-led creator, his drawings are very bad, right? But you're not 100th of the talent that he is. You are not fit to lick his boots, and his drawings do get better in later stuff. You're not fit to lick his fucking boots. You're not fit to speak about them. And you've got this pretentious, long-winded fucking review attacking it for its sexualization. Get fucked.
Weird horny shit in Elfen Lied seems to extend even to his manga that's currently in serialization, so don't take this as me excusing anything. These characters aren't given the
There's nothing to excuse, right? Like this character here, the one who pisses herself all the time, it's lame and it's shit, right? And I don't know why she's even in it. She didn't need to be in it, to be honest. And that's a problem with a lot of mangas and animes that add too many superior characters who are not core to it, right? But at the end of the day, so what? I just don't like it, that's all. I'm not going, oh, it's problematic, he should be more sensitive, he should be more self-aware. Well, no, fuck off, it's his fucking choice. It's his creative choice.
Superiority or respect to relate their traumas to the ways they're objectified.
There's no such thing as objectification, you feminist man-hating cunt. So, yeah.
That
objectification doesn't exist, it's vague, nebulous, and it's rejected out of hand, completely invalid. There's no such thing as objectification. Right? It's only applied against men, and you women don't apply it. Objectification is just a concept used to demonise male preferences, and male desires, and male fantasy.
is the fundamental issue. It's
not the fundamental issue.
Artists' duty to be responsible in how they depict sensitive topics when their work is as visible as something like Elfen Lied.
No, they don't actually. No, they don't. So you can get fucked. They don't have to be responsible to you. They don't have to be responsible to your demands. Alright? Again, go back to your rape, romance, fan fiction shit that you women love and go and frig off to that. Yeah? And just fuck off.
Otherwise, they wind up sabotaging their messages and cheapening their work.
No. The anime's not been cheapened. Right? The manga's just bad. The second it drags out for too long, it's just bad. Right? But the anime is actually solid and it's actually very good.
The very act of self-sabotage and its ensuing cognitive dissonance are Elfen Lied's central motif.
There's no cognitive there's no cognitive dissonance in Elfen Lied. There's tonal contrasts. I don't think you know what cognitive dissonance actually means. Okay, it means two contradictory ideas. Right? Tonal contrast in media is not contradictory. Right, it's not a contradictory idea. You're just using that word to sound pretentious. You're this like jumped up pretentious person trying to sound like a sophisticated reviewer.
Sending even anything within its text. It is its most pervasive issue, leaking into and snuffing out every good idea that sprouts up from within its dry, cracked topography. It becomes Elfen Lied. One of my sincerely actual favorite things about this manga is how the chapter titles are all super serious, but the insert art is always one of the girls just kind of hanging out.
So fucking what? I don't know what... So, oh, there's a girl hanging out, a man might enjoy it and get pleasure from it. The spite coming for you is so fucking obvious. You're such a spiteful little fucking creature. I'll tell you that.
Light of Death. Everyone's hell.
Don't use Super Monkey Ball music. You've probably never even played the game. You're probably an imposter hipster, right?
Tests on the living.
Let's skip that.
The gosh-bathing lunatics. It's a shame because, let's be real, this thing's central premise is full of potential. A mysterious naked woman breaking out of a government facility.
Well, why not cover her up then? Cover her up if you find it so problematic.
And killing a bunch of dudes out of self-preservation, the ultra-violence, the striking headwear.
She doesn't kill dudes out of self-preservation. She kills some dudes to escape, and she tortures some out of sadistic joy. So, but you don't like men, so you probably didn't pick up on that, eh?
It's fantastic.
Like, how many men die and get destroyed in this, right, compared to girls who suffer? How many? Okay?
Especially in the anime adaptation, where sound, color, and motion lock into the source material in perfect rhythm.
The anime's far superior to the manga.
The intro is so good, the Stranger Things dudes cited it as a direct influence on the character 11. And boy, it fucking shows, in more ways than one. How do you make good?
Yeah. Again, this little bits of text and information. Okay, it's ADHD nonsense.
On an opening as strong as Elfen Lied's. Momentum is incredibly important, not even so much in keeping action frequent, but in keeping the emotional momentum in a natural ebb and flow. What is noteworthy among critics and fans about Elfen Lied is its structural synthesis of down-to-earth character drama and explosive, gory action, right? A lot of serialized manga from around that era especially followed a major arc downtime formula, but with Elfenlied both elements weave in and out and coexist. Sort of. In a sense, the series is a shoujo in seinen's clothing. Okamoto seems to really enjoy writing romantic comedy, and that's a really interesting perspective to be writing a hyper-violent science fiction series from. A similar perspective is what makes Berserk's writing so emotionally potent. Author Kentaro Miura took...
And feminists have concerned troll over Berserk on Twitter, like loads of them. They've really attacked it and called men who... They accuse men of jerking off to the rape scenes when I've never jerked off to it, right? They accuse men of jerking off to it and getting off on the violence and the violence against women, and they're probably projecting their own sick hang-ups again, like feminist man-haters always do, right? You're the sick motherfuckers. Like, you're the sex who parentally alienates children for their fathers just out of sadism to gatekeep. You're the sex that killed third trimester wombs just to show you're in charge of life, to gatekeep life, right? The birth of life out of sadism, right? Who the fuck are you to judge men? Who the fuck are you? Reflect on yourself. You're not capable of it, but you should. You should.
Just as much inspiration from the relationship dynamics of shoujo romance manga as he did dark fantasy or battle manga. The decidedly seinen fights carry over and heighten the emotions of the quiet interpersonal drama, and in turn, the drama is what gives the combat, and by extension, the violence, its weight. In Elfenlied, that relationship is completely reversed. The dark and light coexist, but they don't commingle. The emotions present in the action tend not to last once the dust has settled, either because the characters have to arbitrarily keep what they've seen secret to ensure the longevity of the status quo, or because a character, most often Lucy, will black out and have no recollection of her prior motives. Much of the cast is entirely unaware of the other psychic little girls or what connection they have to Niu, knowing only that Niu, as Lucy, is wanted by a mysterious organization and that her horns have something to do with it. So when Lucy awakens from within Niu to fight, it's as though the context the series has built up has to pause while she dukes it out with whoever, and then...
It's an old Incredible Hulk trope. Come on. Like the alter ego, the evil side coming out. Why are you acting shocked? Like, it happens this has been happening in comics for like decades. Like what? I don't know what point you're fucking making.
And things can resume. The seinen...
Like the Hulk comes out, smashes things up, turns back to Bruce Banner, and the status quo returns, right?
Elements and shoujo elements remain emotionally separate, but textually the same. It all still has...
I'm noticing a lot of these critics just like saying nothing, redundant things, right? Okay. Just to fill up the time. It's just really pretentious. She's not even saying anything. She's just sort of talking about the structure of it in a weird way. What point are you making?
Happens to or around the cast at the Maple Inn, but in a constant impersonal rotation where neither makes eye contact with the other. For much of the series, the machinations at the Diclonius Research Institute only directly interface with the rest of the cast in how those consequences may entirely disrupt the blossoming of relationships at the Maple Inn, rather than how they may augment or complicate those dynamics. Occasionally, like when Diclonius assassin girl Nana befriends normal human girl Mayu.
Nana's not an assassin. She doesn't kill. You fucking idiot. She's not an assassin. Like, Jesus Christ. You're gonna be so fucking nitpicky and pedantic and disparaging. Be correct, yeah? She's not a fucking assassin. She refuses to kill, full stop. She even knocks out a load of human soldiers at the end without killing one single one of them. She doesn't kill. She doesn't kill. Jesus Christ.
You see a spark of complexity fire off the page. Will this cause Mayu to grow distrustful of the people housing her if she sees how Nana confronts Niu? Would such a confrontation instill any self-doubt about the nobility of letting Niu live at the Maple Inn? Would it give...
She's a 40-year-old girl on the run. What else is she supposed to do? Like, question them and like, leave? Like, what the fuck?
You get the ammunition to kick Niu out since she already feels jealous of the attention Kota gives her?
She's not going to kick him out because she's not that much of a bitch, right? Maybe you're projecting your own nature there, actually. Yeah, right? Like, Niu has the mentality of a fucking child. To kick her out would be evil, actually.
A lot of potential in Nana meeting the rest of the cast in this scenario. Take that big boy hat right back off though, cool cat, because it plays out in about the stalest way possible. Nana meets New, realizes it's Lucy, attacks her, runs away. Mayu tells her New's chill. Nana realizes
she gets slapped by Quota and gets told off as well. You missed that part, which is actually important, which shows she's actually not a danger to humans. She's willing to get slapped and not retaliate. Okay, they're so-called assassin girl. Okay, and she gets scolded.
Says she can't feel Lucy's psychic presence in New, decides to return and starts staying at the Maple Inn too, just to keep an eye on her. But
no, she's probably she's staying because she didn't ask to stay, and she tries not to stay, and she's reluctant because she's ashamed and there's a bit of pride, but she ends up staying because she's fucking desperate and she's homeless. Jesus fucking Christ, you don't understand human fucking psychology. That's maybe you're a psychopath or something. She has a desperate need to belong. She's escaped from an institution. She's only ever had one person she's loved, that she's projected as her father. She's on the run. She's been released, okay? And she's found somewhere to belong where people seem to accept her, right? It makes, from an emotional point of view, it makes perfect fucking sense. Do you understand human emotions? Right? Us men are meant to be like subhumans who don't have emotions. Are you the one who has emotions? I wonder.
she winds up loving it so much she no longer fully commits herself to stopping Lucy, and just like that
because she's not going to attack a defenseless being. Niu is a defenseless child when she's in this persona, right? Nana is very non-violent, right? Okay, you have to really, like, even when she first confronts Lucy, she doesn't even try and kill her. She could have killed her, but doesn't. She tries to capture her without harming her too much. Okay, she's non-violent as much as possible for who she is. Okay, you don't understand the series you're criticising.
Get a new party member. Total emotional Cold War. The only thing that disrupts
I'm going to end this soon, don't worry.
this is a later confrontation between Nana and an entirely new, even younger psychic murder girl, Mariko, that has nothing at all to do with Lucy or Kota or the Piss Girl, and everything to do with their mutual father complexes surrounding Diclonius Research
It's his daughter.
Institute's director, Kurama. The manga tries and fails repeatedly to imbue its fights with emotional weight in the moment, but it never lands. They're not thoroughly developed, too nonsensical or outlandish. All tension in a story starts to get negated when there's no sense of permanence or finality. In Elfen Lied, no one ever really dies, at least not the first few times. Kurama...
Please don't use video game music like a hipster. You're not a video game player. You're an invader imposter, female. Right? You never played Super Mario World. You've never played it. You've never played it. I played it when I was a kid. I completed it multiple times. Yeah? I don't like this retro gaming reference stuff that these hipsters do. You hate what men enjoy. You take joy in picking it apart. Yeah?
Bondo, Nana, that ridiculous-looking unnamed dude in the hat, they all get their shit kicked in, gasp a dying breath, only to reappear just a few chapters later, very much alive.
Well, like, again, the manga's flawed. Okay, jumping between the manga and anime is a bit weird since anime is magnitude times more popular. Right, you should just be reviewing that on its own sake, in my opinion. But I'm going to end this soon.
It gets so ridiculous and so transparent that you just cease to assume that anyone will ever die if they survive past the chapter they're introduced. It comes off as
that character in the hat dies, gets his head ripped off. Okay, what are you on about?
Confident. Like progressing the story too far into uncharted territory felt like too much of a risk to what was keeping the series.
Right, Bando comes back to life at the end after getting ripped in half. That's shit. I agree with that, right? And Bando getting close to Mayu is a bit weird as well. Okay, like he's shown as complete psycho. He gets redeemed and softened a little bit, which I don't like, but whatever. It's the manga.
Afloat. The fact that the anime tells its story without losing any crucial elements from its source material in just 13 episodes is probably a sign that the manga spins its wheels entirely too much across its 100 chapters.
Yes, the manga's too drawn out. The anime is superior. So the anime has a superior ending to the manga. So I'm gonna end this here. To be honest, there's no point going on any further. I'm not gonna do all 2 hours of this man-hating garbage. Yeah, talking about cum-filled pages. You women, you just hate the thought of men getting titillated by someone. You hate someone that much. Again, I saw a feminist tweet. It says surplus men need to be kept out of the way with AI girlfriends, porn, anime and video games, and sent to work for the rest of the time. I saw that tweet. That's what you really think of men, yeah? That's what you really think of them, yeah? And even when we're kept out the way with stuff that we enjoy, you're still criticising and playing it. You've got this need to dominate and undermine and invalidate. That's insatiable. Insatiable. And let's talk about Lucy. Okay, Lucy is an evil character in this. But I tell you what, she's actually far nicer than you are, right? Because I can understand why she's actually violent and abusive and what she's gone through. Okay, and the thing is, at least she's capable of loving someone. Are you? I don't know, to be honest, but you're capable of hate and spite, that's for sure. Anyway, I'm going to do a review of Elven Lied soonish. More to come.